All right, everybody, what's going on? My name is Torres Cincus. Welcome to the 21 Day Hero Show podcast. And today, our amazing guest is Mike Rosa, who's a fitness superstar, personal trainer, huge YouTuber, and also founder of the company called Anabolic Aliens. So how's it going on, Mike?
Thanks for having me on the podcast. Everything's going great. Just always put in that grind, you know?
Of course, man. That's I think you are all about the grind, right? So really appreciate you giving us your time and spreading extra knowledge. You're already huge on YouTube. Like I said, I think you have over 300,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, approaching 400K soon. I'm excited.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, we have a YouTube channel and we have 140 subscribers. So I know how probably you get this in a minute. So I'm really I'm really sort of inspired by your success, and I know that you don't get to this point without providing a lot of value and actually just doing what people want to see and want to have. So, but firstly, before we dive deeper in who you are and what you do exactly with Anabolic Aliens, tell me, Mike, what's your biggest superpower?
My biggest superpower, I'd say, is definitely the ability to push people beyond what they believe their limits are. So my biggest motto is no limits, and I really do believe there's always a way to get better. And I think I'm very good at making other people believe that about themselves as well, that they can always improve. So I'd say that's my biggest superpower.
That's amazing. I think also, for the guy, for in the business that you are right now in the fitness, that's probably huge superpower you have, and that's probably why also you are so successful. So what are the usual, let's say, I don't know, maybe not excuses, but what kind of misconceptions people come to you that you are okay, I heard this one before, and then and then you kind of what about this? You kind of change their mind. What are the typical excuses people come to you with and say I cannot do this or something?
I'd say the biggest excuses are time availability and equipment availability. And that's actually one of the main premises I base my channel off of.
Mm-hmm.
I give people workouts that are short and intense, that are still effective. So people who don't have the time, you have the time to do at least 15 minutes of something a day. And equipment wise, I do bodyweight workouts all the way to full gym equipment workouts. So those are the biggest excuses I hear people say. They don't have the time, they don't have the equipment, or they don't have the knowledge. So I'm basically trying to give options for all three of those excuses to take them completely away.
Mm-hmm. And I assume there must be still people that even if you give all of this information, you kind of give an answer for the time constraints, for the equipment constraints, and for the knowledge constraints. Are there still people kind of saying, it still doesn't work for me? Or what do you do with these kinds of people? Or is it that's it, you don't have motivation and I cannot help you?
Yeah, there's always people who are gonna. I really think you can only get so much from an external force. It gets to a point where internally you have to be able to motivate yourself as well. And I think a lot of people who are putting in that motivation internally and aren't seeing the results they want, that actually comes down to more of a lack of knowledge. And that's why I offer services like one-on-one training and all these customized features, especially with my app. I try to make it so it can be as customized as possible per the individual. But there's always going to be people who are going to say, I just can't do it or whatever. And I think that when you get to that point, you got to somehow wrap your head out of that constraint that you're limiting yourself. And there's external forces that will do their best to motivate you, but you have to find some kind of reason to get yourself going as well. And I hope that's why I try to do so many different styles of content, because I want to reach as many as possible.
Got it. And so what was your reason? When did you start? Getting really fit, or you were born this? I don't know. What was your reason to start the whole fitness, influencing stuff?
So I grew up playing sports. I was really big into baseball. That was my main sport. I did basketball. I did soccer up until high school, but basketball, baseball continued throughout high school. And then I also developed into track in high school. And then I actually originally went to college for baseball. But my senior year of high school was when things really started to take off for me fitness-wise. My mom did the entire Insanity program together at 5 a.m. before school. And it was actually really motivating. It was really fun, and that's kind of how I fell in love with the HIIT format of training as well. That really sparked all my interest. I was like, wow, my whole body just changed. This is freaking cool. So I got really into that. And then as I got more into fitness, I actually noticed that my interest in sports kind of declined. Not that I didn't love baseball or anything, but when I went to college for baseball, they had me on the specific training regimen. And I was like, I hate doing this. Like, I want to do what I love to do. I want to change. I want to change. And ended up actually transferring, and I got into powerlifting. And the same time I got into powerlifting, I did my first meet. That's when Anabolic Aliens started doing personal training sessions. Then I was running group classes, and then I actually started running group classes at my college, University of New Hampshire. And that's everything kind of came together all at once into a bundle. And then ever since then, it's just kept progressing and progressing and progressing.
Got it. So what was the time period between when you did this insanity bootcamp with your mom and until the point where you were like, look, I feel good, I feel amazing, I feel the progress, I'm loving this, and I want to share this with the people. Why don't I set up the company and do this? What was the kind of time frame, yeah, of this?
Probably about a year and a half, I'd say, because when I first started out, I mean, those newbie gains, they come so quick and you really get motivated yourself, but I had no idea really what I was doing when I first started out. Like, I saw other people, I was getting motivated myself by other people, and I was just kind of doing a lot of trial and error. And I always loved seeing how I could increase in weight, seeing the body changes, and I kind of wanted to establish a base for myself before I really made it something that I was promoting to other people. Like, I got my training certification, and I think that's really what took the toll. Is like, okay, I know I can help make a difference. So when it more developed into a business, but at first, Anabolic Aliens was actually kind of more of like a hobby, I'd say, because we didn't really expect it to ever turn into something that was going to make significant revenue. It was something more of along like, let's put out what we love to do, and hopefully can help some people in the process.
I think all the or let's say most of the successful businesses and projects have exactly the same story. They first started as not as a money making machine, but more of a like, it's my hobby. I love what you do. I love helping people, and maybe I can earn an extra buck in return. So I think that's the best motivation. That's usually the universe and the people basically rewards you with with everything what you have right now. So all right, so you were a pretty sporty guy from early days, right? So there was you said baseball and soccer and other sports sort of already from the young age. Then you found the fitness. And now you are with Anabolic Aliens. So tell us a little bit more what Anabolic Aliens is. What was the idea when you started, and how did it evolve over these years, and so on.
Yeah, so Anabolic Aliens, like I said, when it first started out, it was more of a, this is what I love to do, and hopefully can help in the process. So honestly, it was never initially intended to even be a business. It was more just kind of like a side fun project. And then some videos ended up starting to really collect in views, and the more exposure the channel got, the more believing we all got. It started out with me and another kid. His name is Eric, and we started out together. And as we kept going with things, when things started taking off, that's when we're like, oh crap, like this can be an actual business. Like, so whatever worked was where we built other ideas off of. So when one video took off, okay, there's a whole series. So when you find out what people like, you can build off what they're actually liking, and then you actually know what your like specialties are, and then you can help people based off what people want, but also what you're good at creating. Like, I don't want to. There's no point in my eyes in making content that I have no idea what I'm talking about, because even if I'm trying to help someone, if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not good at talking about it, it makes no sense to try to tell someone else how to do it. But with everything else, Anabolic Aliens base was the main platform is a YouTube channel. I'm hosting right now. It's just me now. I run the entire business myself, and I'm posting 4 to 5 videos a week, and depends how exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm getting more into lifestyle vlogging as well, so people can see what I'm doing in my daily life. And sometimes I do more than 4 to 5 videos a week, but I kind of make it a staple to do at least. And then Instagram, it's another main platform of mine. I try to keep my Instagram actually pretty different from my YouTube channel, meaning I'd show a lot more personality, I'd say, on my Instagram. Just, it's easier to take a picture of what I'm doing at that point in time rather than a whole video
Creating
doing
the
it.
whole video, yeah, that's true.
But that's why I'm trying to do like one vlog a week right now, just so I want people to relate even more on a personal level rather than just come to me for relevancy, because I have a lot more to offer than just what people need at that point in time. I want people to get motivated and have fun with their life as well. I'm a huge believer in pushing yourself to the absolute max fitness wise, but also having a valued, fun social life so you can get the balance of everything. And that's where I come into the mentality of it. If I'm not with having fun with my friends, along with pushing myself on the grind, I'm gonna go insane.
Yeah,
So kind of
you're gonna burn out.
yeah. So the whole premises of what I do is give. I don't care if you've never worked out before. I don't care if you've worked out for 6 years and you're incredibly advanced. I don't care if you're a powerlifter. I don't care if you're a physique person.
Hmm.
I just want to give content to help the broad audience of fitness enthusiasts and also promote that you can do what you love, meaning whether that's going out with friends, go traveling, while also getting the work done on your body and seeing yourself self-creating an ideal image of what you want to be.
Hmm.
So that's how everything I've done, and that's also contributed to the development of my app Exerprise, which is on the same premises of whatever time availability, equipment availability, I want you to be able to do it in your best way possible for your specific lifestyle.
Got it. So who are the most, let's say, or okay, no, I'm gonna switch this question. So what do you do? What is your advice, when the person comes to you and they're like, I never exercised before, I've just like, I don't know, just life happened, maybe I kicked some ball when I was, a teenager, but went to college, got a office job, and now I'm 30 years old, and maybe a little bit overweight. I need to get my fitness right. So how do you start working with these people? Like what is the first, let's say, what do they do in the first week, for example?
Yeah, so someone who's first starting out, that's actually one of the reasons I created the Intense Workout series. They're literally made for all experience levels, which is why I say I don't care if you're a beginner, I don't care if you're extremely advanced. My whole point of the kind of styled workouts I do is you start from where you're at, and I really promote if you need a rest, take it, then get back at it, finish strong, and then do better the next time. And that's why I believe when you're first starting out, it really does depend on your goals. You can do rep and set based workouts in the gym, but a lot of people who are first starting out, they're not really comfortable with the whole gym environment. So that's why I have a lot of options you can do right at home to kind of get you more into the habit. And it's just basically, I preach progressive overload, which is basically no matter where you are now, you want to, whatever you get this time, the next time you do a little improvement, and also forth, you're just on that steady line upward to keep progressing. And then for someone who they don't really know exactly how extensive they want to get into the whole workout, nutritional part of it. I just say try to clean it up for the general reference. Just try to clean up your diet. You don't have to get crazy at right when you're starting off with counting calories, counting macros. Just try to clean out your diet with a general idea of what's healthy and what's cleaner, and then just establish a habit of exercising. I think the hard part about starting off is establishing a habit. So once you can get about to establish a habit is around like a 30-day, or we'll say even your challenge, like that length is how you can establish a habit. And once you establish that consistency, then we actually get into the quality of what you're doing. That's what I believe.
Got it. All right. I mean, you answered my question. My follow-up question, I wanted to ask you, what's from your experience? How long does it take to establish a habit? So usually 30 days. Like we have this 21-day daily exercise challenge, where it's also the idea is to start off doing something small, but maybe every day. So that consistency will sort of create you a craving that after, if you do something for 21 or 30 days, or even longer. You'll see how you actually crave. You are like, wake up today and it's suddenly your usual time that you were exercising, and you feel like, if I don't exercise, like something is wrong in this day. So this is the the power of habit. And yeah, so you mentioned the diet. Obviously, this is huge part for anybody who wants to get fit, and healthy. So what are you mentioned a little bit, just clean up your diet. What are some more specific advice? Imagine I'm your client, and you're like, I know, clean up your diet. So I'm like, what does that mean? Like what? Like just eat less sugar, or what does it mean?
Yeah. So basically, I'm when I talk about cleaning up the diet, what I basically mean is limit the amount of greasy foods you're eating, limit the amount of excessive sugar you're consuming, try to limit the amount of sodium you're consuming. Basic things like increasing the amount of vegetables, fruits. Try to focus more on lean meats rather than fatty meats. When you're thinking about getting in your fats, you want to do like healthy poly and monounsaturated fats. So when I'm telling people to get more into that habit of eating clean, I always actually tell them to incorporate a cheat meal or even a cheat day when you're first starting off. Obviously, a whole day is to an extreme and it's not ideal, but I know a lot of people who can go 4 to 5 days eating like much cleaner, and then on that they break down because they have a whole day of eating completely unhealthy. And it's like, okay, you had one day, maybe that's what you need at this point in have a day or a couple, allow yourself to have a day and then go back to that clean eating. And then after that next week, maybe you'll limit one meal on that unhealthy eating day, and then you can slowly taper down. I'm all about just, like I said, even I'll relate it to exercise, progressive overload. So the same type of thing, you're progressively cutting down on those unhealthy foods. So you're able to get up to that more clean, like natural way of eating and without going crazy doing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think. I mean, I totally concur with this. It's also just the way we are wired. You know, like we are not robots. You know, we have emotions go up and down. You know, when the stress levels are up, you are a lot more inclined to kind of go back into the old habits and bad habits. Grab that extra bag of chips, or I don't know, even smoke, or even watch TV. Like we're basically, once we are stressed, all of this willpower disappears. And it's important probably is to feel fine that just say like, look, I'm gonna do really good for 5 days. Saturday is amazing day. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna have great breakfast, I'm gonna eat whatever I want, and probably that feeling will usually, at least for me, it's I practice this and it's very liberating, because this is sort of my or also motivation, right? Like then, like if I know if it's Thursday, I know it's okay, one more day, and then Saturday is gonna be amazing, So yeah, got it. And so, what is your what is your personal diet? What are you sort of eating normally?
Yeah, so my diet, I kind of play around with a bunch of different things, and it depends on my specific goal at the time. What people might find crazy about me is I actually have never followed a macro diet. I mean, I've monitored my macros, but I've never consistently followed a diet based off my macros. But I know exactly how to do macro manipulation, everything like that. It's just for me, I'm a powerlifter, so my diet isn't necessarily like the exact numbers aren't necessarily a huge significant factor in what I'm trying to go for. But aesthetically, I count my calories because I do care about my aesthetics. So if I'm bulking, I normally do about a 200 to 300 caloric surplus. If I'm cutting, I'll go at most 500 calorie deficit. And then I like to actually stay around a maintenance caloric level. And for me, that's around 3,000 calories a day. And because I like doing more of the principles of power building, which is you can start with like powerlifting techniques and incorporate bodybuilding techniques as well in your training. And I relate to diet because I'm not accounting for my exercise expenditure, especially when I'm doing HIIT cardio. So that kind of puts me in a deficit. They kind of focus more on body recomposition. And like actual food wise, what I'm actually doing lately is in the mornings, I just have a banana. I'm working out at 7 a.m. I'll just have a banana for my workout. Then I'll have a protein shake after my workout, and then I'll have normal eating, like a healthy day, like rice, like brown rice with broccoli, with your chicken, and then dinner, like steak with sweet potato, with asparagus. And that's what I mean by keeping it clean. But then on off days, I love my greasy foods. That's my cheat meal. So I'll get like a burger here and there, a pizza. I need that mental stability, to keep me on track. And as long as I'm monitoring that progression, if I'm focusing on losing body fat, as long as I'm monitoring my body fat, I'm not too concerned with my nutritional intake because I know overall I'm eating clean, I'm eating well, and if the results are going in the direction I want, I don't have to go crazy with the numbers. But if I were to compete in a show like a bodybuilding power physique show, I would count like my calories very specifically. I'd count my macros, and I would do a lot more of the specifics. But currently I'm not a huge fan of doing the specifics when I don't need to.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't need to. This is the, I guess, when people see you, you're like, you're fine. So, I guess it all depends on your goals, right? If your goal is to actually, lose weight, if you are, if weight is a problem, then obviously you should be probably a little bit more stricter and, then really more consistent, and probably you should count. I don't know, depends on I guess, what your goals are, right?
Well, weight gain. It's actually very simple when you think about it mathematically. Because for weight loss, all you need to be is in a caloric deficit, and that's what I was saying about my own self. If I'm specifically trying to lose weight, I'll count my calories. I won't go crazy with like macros and those numbers, but I make sure I'm in that caloric deficit. And if I'm trying to gain weight, I'll make sure I'm in that caloric surplus. Because mathematically, you know exactly how to get where you're going, and you don't have to necessarily think exactly about the types of food you're eating, but if you're thinking more about body composition and fat, like body fat, then you have to start considering how much you're consuming of what you're consuming, and then that's when you get more into the macros. But for the general person, like the average person who's just trying to lose body fat or lose weight, if you are in a slight caloric deficit and you're working out consistently, you'll be on the right track that you're going for. That's the average person.
Got it. And what's your take, or like, do you have any opinion about these next big things in diet and nutrition? Keto diets, intermittent fasting, and so on and so on. Like, do you practice? Do you advise? Or are you against? Like, what's your take on that?
I'm definitely not against anything. I actually think dieting, like specific diets like keto and all those things, I think it's actually kind of a motivating thing for people because it gives them a goal to strive toward. I think I'm very goal oriented, and like I said, that kind of helps you establish that habit. So if doing something specific like that makes you more self on track, then definitely give a diet a try. But I know a lot of bodybuilders who compete who are huge fans of keto. I've never done keto. I don't like to promote anything that I don't personally do. I love promoting from experience rather than even fact. Things are changing like crazy. So I normally always promote from experience, and I can actually talk about intermittent fasting. I did that. I did intermittent fasting for a full 6 week period. And what my results doing intermittent fasting, it was awesome with body fat. So I lost a ton of body fat doing it. And what I was doing was I was doing the 16-8 method. So 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window. I was actually working out during my eating window. So a lot of people do it during the fasting portion because it can help accelerate fat loss. I did it during the eating portion, and I still noticed significant fat loss results. But the negative I noticed for someone who's specifically like me, I did suffer a little bit in strength. So that's why I actually stopped doing it because like I said, my goals are powerlifting and like getting as strong as I possibly can. So it was a great cut. And I know a lot of people who preach for intermittent fasting, and I know it's all about insulin manipulation and controlling your insulin release. So I think that's a really cool style if you're trying to focus on body fat loss and all those factors. But it definitely is. It's definitely very different from the average diet. And I don't think the average person needs to do it. I think the average person, it's actually much simpler than all that. But when people are getting much more into the body composition of everything and just really into the fitness and trying to get more of that mentality behind everything, I think it's a pretty cool thing to experiment with diets.
Got it, got it. Yeah, no, I can totally relate to your experience with intermittent fasting. I'm still doing it since April, so I don't know what's that, like a fourth or fifth month, and I tried because I do HIIT trainings mostly, so not powerlifting, not bodybuilding. I do maybe once a week. So actually, for those days I do bodybuilding. I try to do during my eating window because I try doing during my fasting window. And like the difference is so huge, like you say in strength, like you're like, shit, I just, we're able to do it like this weight yesterday or like last week. What's happened to me? I'm so weak, So it's really probably about, just getting enough carbs. And at the end of your fasting window, you're kind of consumed all your carbs, and that fat from your body just doesn't produce enough energy. So got it. All right. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience. So, what are the mindset? Let's speak about your mindset. So I assume just from my experience with talking with experts like you, for the people who made it at the moment, I assume that it's not that hard for you to find motivation, right? Like what is your current motivation source, and how did it all started in terms of like what was your biggest motivation source when you started and what it is now?
I actually think my motivation source from the beginning and right now is exactly the same. It's all I fall in love with progression. That's why I always say no limits, because there is always a way to improve, whether it's an exercise trying to get better at that weight, whether it's trying to put more size on your arms, whether it's trying to lose body fat. And it's interesting because at your goal at that time, your progression may completely change what you're trying to progress. So there's always different realms of progression, and there's always different ways to monitor it. And it doesn't just go about physicalness. It doesn't just go about building muscle or losing fat. It goes into mentality behind things. Like, I want to do this for this many days. There's progress. And then, okay, I just did it for this many days. Now I want to do it for this many days. There's even more progression. And I've kind of it's kind of interesting because everything I do in the gym and with my fitness goals, it relates to all aspects of my life. Meaning, like, for my app out, okay, now that's out. What's the next step? I'm always thinking about the next move, and the next move is constantly motivating me to keep pushing myself because I don't ever want to settle, you know?
Got
So
it. No, this is amazing. This is like I'm super happy for you that you have that improvement bug, and this is once again, this is sort of a common answer I hear between the people who are high achievers, who have great whatever, they have huge achievements, whether in in business, whether in fitness, whether in diet, or wherever. They all have this unique sort of trait that unites them, is the self-improvement bug. That bug that, like, you want to be better than yesterday. You want to improve little by little, and and that progress always motivates you, and you don't care so much about the failures. You get up, you keep going, and you just want to improve every day. And that's that's what fascinates me. Like, this seems like to be like the number one thing that really unites all the successful people. This improvement bug in whatever they do. They want to do it better than yesterday. They want to be better than yesterday. So so happy for you that you are also with the virus. And but what I was listening to you, but also I had that question in my mind, and I assume some people might have that as well. But if you are always sort of improving, you want to do it better, does it make you happy with the presence? Like, are you not sacrificing, or like, are you happy basically? Because if you're never happy with what you have and you want to improve, how does it affect your day-to-day happiness?
that's a great question, and that's actually one of the main reasons I promote like the balance of social life as well, because and also cheat meals and everything, they all kind of tie in together. Because if I accomplish this, I reward myself. Like, I work very hard during the weekend, so I'm able during the week, so I'm able to go out with friends, have a few drinks, have some fun on the weekends, and not feel bad about it. And I do definitely think that when you're constantly thinking about the next move, sometimes you can get lost in the future, and it makes you kind of not recognize how much you've accomplished and what you're doing exactly right now. And that's one of the reasons I also promote make sure you have your focus set, meaning know what you're doing right now. Don't try to do a billion things at once, because then first of all, if you're trying to do a billion things at once, it's going to make it incredibly harder to get to that next stage for those a billion things. Because it's basically thinking, if you're doing a billion things at once, you're doing every little bit of something instead of putting your heart into one thing. And so I kind of always make a point to say, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then recognize that you're doing it, and take a moment to reflect on how you got there, because that reflection of how you got there is also going to contribute to you getting past that and onto the next step. So I definitely think that it can intensify the moment and can stress people out. And I definitely get stressed myself sometimes. And when I get to that point, I'm like, okay, I need to take a mental breather. I need to realize what I've been doing, how much work I put into it, and understand that I've done a significant thing, and talk about the next level. A lot of people don't even make it to that next level. So I got to recognize that all that hard work was for something, and it had a significant result. And me wanting to get to that next level is kind of just a personal motivational factor, rather than like a public eye of what I'm expected. It's more of expectations I put on myself. And that keeps me happy, because I'm able to reflect on what society kind of sees me doing, but also my personal endeavors with all my businesses, fitness, and all what I'm trying to do for my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Got it. No, it does make sense. So basically, what you're saying is, number one is focus on one thing. Then the progress will motivate you, and getting to that next level will be that little engine that will keep pushing you forward. And basically, when you feel stressed out, when maybe that constant running becomes sometimes too much, which is totally normal. Take a little break, kind of debrief, appreciate what you have, maybe do a little gratitude practice, and keep pushing forward.
A
Got
little
it.
self on it.
Yeah. 100%. So let's go a little bit into details. What happens when you're stressed? Let's say, what are some activities? What do you like to do? Do you call your friends, let's say, look, man, grab a beer, or do you meditate, or do you take a walk? What are your sort of routines when you need to make a mental break? You need to reset your brain and motivation. What do you do usually?
It depends on the day of the week. On the weekends, it's definitely a couple beers with the friends. I love going out with my friends and kind of just letting loose. I really do believe like when you work so hard during the week, you earn that, and it's all about that maintenance and control. You have to be able to keep everything in balance while you also can let yourself loose. But if it's something like during the week, I love. I'm actually a huge fan of like 30-second naps when I need that mental rest. So not 30-second, 30-minute naps. So
I
I
was
literally
thinking like, wow, 30 seconds. I never heard that. I want to learn 30-second nap.
and then, I like basically run off alarms, and a 30-minute nap kind of just trying to shut off the brain. That actually does me a huge difference. And then other things I like to do, like I love watching like movies. I love going to the beach. I love traveling. I love hiking. I just kind of love doing stuff that takes my mind off the business or exactly what my goal is at that point in time without getting sidetracked off that goal. It's kind of like a mental break, but still knowing what I'm going for, just needing that that sanity aspect I keep talking about.
Of course, got it. How do you, on the days, let's say, it's a weekend, you had a hard week, you want to, catch up with your buddies, have a couple of beers. How do you manage to not go over the limit? That couple of beers, stay couple of beers, because that is a thin line. When a couple of beers become, I don't know, like a couple of, like a dozen of beers, I don't know. Like it's very easy, especially with alcohol, to go over the limit, and also, actually with food as well, right? Like, look, I'm just gonna have one slice of pizza. Hey, what about the second? And then, yeah, by the time you know it, it's like whatever, one whole pizza or whatever. So how do you manage to stop yourself at the point where a lot of people don't?
Well, for me, I'm completely honest. Like on week, I don't really have that stopping I wouldn't really say I like stop. Like when I know I'm taking that mental break, I let myself go. I not go like I have fun. Like if I have more than a couple drinks, I have more than a couple of drinks. For me, it's all about that rebound. If I'm able to enjoy what I'm like, if I have a full pizza one night, which is completely, and I don't recommend it to anyone, but if you have a full pizza one night and you go completely over the top, as long as you can get back to your goal, what you're trying to do, like not and promptly too. Like if I have a full pizza on Sunday, I'm not eating a full pizza on Monday. I'm in the gym working out for as long as I work out. I'm on my point with my diet. Like I kind of set these mental lapses so I don't have to think about that overload. Like I do. Obviously, that's in the back of my mind. I know what I'm doing. Like I don't want to. I'm not trying to set myself back. But like I said, it's all about that progression line. If I'm going in the direction I want, I'm not going to overthink if I have too many slices of pizza or if I have too many beers.
So basically, controlled fun is no fun. If you're having fun, have fun. If you're working, you're working, right? Otherwise, it's a half done.
I'm an all-in type of person.
All in or nothing. All right, man. Awesome. So time is running. I would love to go into well, I mean, we already covered actually quite a lot of topics into the personal profile questions. I want to sort of get a profile of you to understand what makes you successful. Reverse engineer your mindset, your typical day, and stuff like that. So we already covered a little bit, about your mornings and stuff like that. But let's still go. What your typical day looks like, walk us through. What do you do? When do you, wake up? What do you drink? What do you eat breakfast and stuff like that? So what's your typical day looks like?
Yeah, so I'll wake up normally around 5 to 6 a.m. I'll have a banana, then I'll go lift around 7. And my lifts, no one has to do it. I love working out, and there's many reasons behind it, but I'm in the gym for 3 to 4 hours a day. 6 days a week. So I always take Sundays off. Monday through Saturday, I'm in the gym for 3 to 4 hours. And that's a huge factor because I love doing it. But I also make sure I do like everything. Like I'll stretch there. I'll do my warm up. I'll do my entire lifts. I do multiple action muscle groups, and then I'll do cardio. I'll do abs. I'll hit the steam room. So it's not just like I'm lifting for 3 to 4 hours straight, but I do everything in that. I make sure I don't want to stretch at home, so I make sure I get everything I want to do at the gym done, and that's why I'm that long. And then after that, depending on the day, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are my main business development days. So Monday is actually my engaging with everything. I'm optimizing my content and going through metadata and making sure all of my SEO and things are up to speed. And then that's kind of where I just get back to everyone and make sure everything's on check. Because like I said, my weekends are my kind of let loose time. So I make sure everything's on check on Mondays. And then Tuesday and Thursdays, I'm really focusing on my app. My app is my main development focus right now. So I do a lot of work with the app. And it's like creating new features and things like that. And then, of course, I'm doing online training on my website as well. I was thinking about apparel sales and things like that. So I'm looking into new options with apparel, and then I have my partnerships, and I have to think about promotions. I do a lot of planning, and then my Wednesdays and Fridays, I do my YouTube filming and all my content creation. And that's where I film at the studio I'm actually currently at right now. And I get all my videos filmed on 2 days. And then the other 3 days, one day is more of like relations, getting everything on track and responding to everyone and going through everything and planning out the rest of the week. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are my main business development days, like all my entrepreneurial aspects. And then Saturday is I actually do stuff on Saturday too. That's kind of what's left over. And then Sundays I really try to do nothing, but I try to Instagram daily, tweet daily, and little like that. But that's kind of
They
my
add up.
relax.
They add up. Once you have your own business, they add up. There's really no really day off that you don't do anything. I mean, yes, maybe there are a couple of weeks there and there during the year, but in the end, you're working 24/7. Got it. So seems like a really structured guy you are. You have like really day by day and very clear focus on each of the weekday. That's awesome. And so what you mentioned that you eat a banana in the morning. What do you eat, usually for lunch or for dinner? Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I said that kind of earlier with like normally I'll have the banana, and then right after my workouts, just for convenience, I'll have a protein shake, and then my clean days I'm just eating like rice, some kind of veg. My meals normally are some kind of carb source. I keep it a carb source like sweet potato, rice, brown rice normally, and then I'll go to a vegetable source. My favorites are asparagus and broccoli. Sometimes I go with like some kind of spinach make. I try to make sure I get all different types of greens. I do a bunch of mixed variety vegetables. Those packs I get like market basket, so I'm getting like my carrot stuff. So I'm not a huge fan of that individually, so I put it all together and kind of make like a stir fry. And then dinner, I focus more on the fats and proteins when I get later in the day. So I'll actually limit my carb intake by the end of the day. So I'll either not have any rice or sweet potato, just kind of have a much smaller portion, and then actually increase my vegetable intake at dinner and have even more protein and so forth. And then I always have like a late night snack. I keep it like not a late night snack, just something before bed. I normally go to bed around like 11 p.m. And then what I mean by like a snack is like a protein cookie or something kind of that's actually pretty healthy, like those Larry cookies. I'm a huge fan, or like a yogurt or like a Greek yogurt, stuff like that, where it's not a crazy quantity and it's overall good quality, and it actually kind of fills some of those cravings that you maybe have late night, like a protein cookie. That's a pretty good substitute for a normal cookie.
Of course, of course.
So stuff like that. Just little things kind of keep you mentally in it as well.
Got it. And do you drink tea or coffee, or you're not?
I love green tea. I don't drink it as much though, because one of my partners is Hearthstone Native Coffee, and their coffee is absolutely unbelievable. And I'm drinking like 2 to 3 cups a day of coffee. I always start off my day with a cup of black. I just drink it black. I don't mess with anything else. It's always black coffee. So I'll have not 3 cups is on a busy day. 2 cups normally max, and most days just 1. But I've actually been taking coffee as my pre-workout lately without any. I'm not taking supplements currently, and just taking coffee.
So does the caffeine activates the muscle, or how does it work?
It's kind of more just an energy boost. I said I'm not taking supplements. Yeah. I'm taking protein shake after my workouts, but I'm not taking creatine or aminos or pre-workout right now. None of those stims, just like a whey substance.
Got it, got it. And do you practice anything, regularly for your mental fitness? Like, I don't know, do you meditate? Do you write a journal? Do you, I don't know, visualize or practice gratitude?
I don't meditate, although I would actually I want to actually it's people probably laugh. I actually really want to get into yoga, for mobility, but also kind of just like the realm it puts you in. And also, but I'm a huge planner. I need to plan things out, so I always kind of like write things out. I'm a huge fan of writing things out, and that's kind of where I develop my structure, and that kind of helps me with the mental aspect as well. So I just acknowledge what was done, I check stuff off as I get them done, and that helps me release those endorphins.
Of course, the dopamine. Yeah, it's gone, it's done. Awesome. So, what are sort of the apps you use, for example, to keep your healthy lifestyle? Do you, besides also obviously the exercise, besides, so let's say let's talk about exercise a bit later, like in terms of like exercise app. But what are other apps that are helping to keep you fit, both mentally and physically?
So I mean, this normal social media is like I say like for fun stuff like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all those general things. But I use MyFitnessPal to track calories, and it's just very simple to use. And I can do, when I get more serious, I will do macros on that as well. Um, I'm not a huge fan of apps actually. I try not to be on my phone when I don't have to, so I don't really play games on my phone. But if I'm playing, if I am playing a game, like in those kinds of rare occasions, it's like Family Feud or like some kind of puzzle game to just get my mind think. I love games that make you think.
Got it, got it. So tell us a little bit more about Exercise, the app. Like when did you first launch it? Like which version it is? Like what are the general people feedback, and what are the main features?
Yeah, so Exercise. I'm trying to think how long it's been. It hasn't been a year yet. I think it was January we launched the first one. It was only available on iOS, and now it's available for Android and iOS. And so Exercise is the first randomized workout generator based off muscle groups you want to work out, your equipment availability options, your choice of time intervals, as well now as sets and reps, which is actually a new feature in the last month. So you can choose time intervals or your sets and reps, and then how long you actually want to work out for. So you have the ability to fully customize your workout based off those factors, or you don't even have to hit anything and just hit generate my workout and we'll randomize it for you. But it's out of a database of over 500 exercises built in. Right now, every single exercise in the app can be done at home or at the gym. That's how I wanted to have that equipment option. It can be done at your house. That's how I wanted it to be made originally. And some new features that are being worked on are putting like more gym specific stuff in there. Because if you're a powerlifter, I want you to be able to use this app too, So I want every single type of person to be able to use this app. And you literally get a workout in a matter of 5 seconds if you want one. And it's an effective workout. All the exercises, like some exercises were actually created by myself, but all the other ones that you've heard of, they're standard exercises that you know to be effective. And so you have options to like save your workouts. So the app is a free download, but there's also premium features which like unlocks every single exercise, save unlimited workouts, and there's also going to be fully built programming that's going to come into the app as well. That's a future feature we're working on, as well as incorporating my YouTube workouts directly into the app to follow. So anyone who follows my workouts on YouTube, you'll be able to directly follow them on my app as well. And just a bunch of developments like that. Like I said, the progression, we're constantly working to keep making it better. So any ideas that people have to make the app better, let me know, because it's possible. And I do listen to everyone's input.
Awesome. And what's the best way to send you that feedback or ask any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I answer my DMs and stuff on Anabolic Aliens, but there's a contact. It's in the app. It's support@exerprise.com. You can send an email to that on anything you may have in mind, and we read every single one of those emails and also make a point to respond.
Awesome. So I'll definitely put the links, for the app, to download the app in the show notes of this episode, and also in the description of this YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube, dear listeners and watchers. I think it's time to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Mike. Really thank you for, inspiring and really being, such a superstar in the kind of devoting your time and helping people to get more fit. I think that's really, a huge mission. Like, the more fit people are, the more, it kind of spills over into other areas of their life, because the healthy body really kind of just brings other benefits together with it. So thanks a lot, Mike, for sharing the knowledge.
Again, thanks for having me on. It's been a blast.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode with Mike. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. To get all the details what he mentioned, I'm going to put it in the show notes, and you can access it by going to 21dayhero.com/Mike. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That will really, really help us grow and to invite more and more exciting guests like Mike to this podcast. And if you want to challenge yourself, if you want to try something new, maybe you want to lose weight, get more fit, or start reading more books or meet more new people, head over to 21dayhero.com/challenges and choose one of our 21-day challenges for the body and mind, and try something new. Challenge yourself one step at a time. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.